Hello, welcome to Carrow Road. I'm outside the Barclay, and it is a very happy Carrow Road because Norwich City have well and truly got their Premier League season up and running. First Carrow Road game in the top flight since May 2016, and it has finished Norwich City 3, Newcastle United 1, and very, very deservedly as well. A superb performance, frankly, from Daniel Farke's team, from a newly promoted side who were beaten 4-1 away to Liverpool last weekend. To put in this kind of performance is really quite impressive. And the goals scored by who else? Teemu Pukki. A hat-trick in the Premier League, the first by a Norwich player since September 1993. You can probably remember it. Efan Okoku scored 4 goals in a win at Everton. So you're going back 26 years since a Norwich player has scored a hat-trick in the top flight. Teemu's first for the club as well. It's also been pointed out to me after the game that moves him into level 50th in the club's all-time goal-scoring charts. 34 goals puts him level with Craig Bellamy and Chris Martin, so that's not half bad either. There's just positives at every turn today, really, so I think it's one of those days where Norwich fans have just got to make the most of it. They've just got to enjoy it, because I don't think 3-1 wins will be a common occurrence, despite all the encouraging factors that we've seen today. Norwich started really well. Pukki and Cantwell both had chances. Todd had a slightly frustrating first half, but he ended up finishing with 2 assists, one maybe slightly accidental, but he gets 2 assists. Pukki opens the scoring in the 32nd minute. That was an absolute cracker, and I would imagine you will see plenty of that on the broadcast channels in the next few days. A corner from Buendia gets cleared. Mo Leitner does well to keep it alive, turns the ball back to Marco Stiepermann in the box. He plays it wide again. Buendia's cross comes across, it's headed up, and Pukki meets it on the volley, lashes into the top left corner. Lovely, lovely strike. Dubravka did sort of get palm to it, but couldn't keep it out, and that was 1-0. But there had been a scare, despite Norwich dominating. Joe Linton, who is a £40 million signing for them in the summer, he somehow headed wide at the back post. It was in front of the Barclay, and it was at the far post from the away fans, so they thought it was in. It was a cross from Isaac Hayden from the right, and Joe Linton just beat Hanley to it and somehow nodded it wide at the back post, and that would have given them the lead. There was another opportunity for them before the break. Fabian Schär headed, he beat Mo Leitner at the back post, got above him, but Tim Krul was there to parry that one high and then claim it, and Krul, again, very good today, but unfortunately there is a negative note to finish on, because they didn't quite manage to keep the clean sheet, which is a shame, but we'll stay on the positives for the moment. Then Pukki makes it 2-0 about 20 minutes into the second half, and not sure what that was. Something just fell into place. Okay, let's pick that one up again. Pukki makes it 2-0, and it was a lovely play from Cantwell. Norwich had been dominating the ball by that point. Lewis gets the ball on the left, turns it to Cantwell, who quite bravely really turns on the ball into infield, and then turns and runs towards goal. Considers shooting, but then realises Pukki is there and does the right thing. Puts it to the star striker, and he finishes into the bottom left corner. That's 2-0. The Barclay's going mad. Carrow Road, sun beaming. As you might be able to tell, it's quite blustery, but overall just a lovely August day of football, really, when your team is back in the Premier League and winning 3-1. And then the icing on the cake from Pukki came late on. He was initially offside from Marco Stiepermann's pass, so there was a bit of doubt whether we were going to see some VAR, but I don't think we did. It was Cantwell that ran onto it, though, managed to hold off his man, and then perhaps was trying to just turn and set up a shot for himself, but in the end just ended up letting the ball go to Pukki. He fires it under Dubravka, and that's 3-0, and that's game over, frankly. Daniel Farke does his usual thing of rolling the subs on and killing the game, really. But sadly, right at the death, 94th minute, John Joe Shelvey surges into the box on the left, and Grant Hanley just gets himself in a little bit of a muddle and ends up sort of tripping himself over to a certain extent, and then Shelvey's able to tuck it past Krul into the top right hand corner and deny Norwich for what would have been a really, really lovely clean sheet, because that would have just made it a perfect day, really. But there you go, you can't have everything. If anybody had offered Norwich fans a 3-1 win at Carrow Road in the first home game of the season, or even at 3 o'clock before this game, they just snapped your hand off. So there you go, Teemu Pukki pretty much top scorer in the Premier League as things stand. All the stats in his favour, and happy times for Norwich. Moving forward, of course, it's Chelsea next Saturday back here in an early kick-off, 12:30. So Norwich will need all that confidence. That's, of course, going to be a really difficult game. But probably the big difference today from the Liverpool game was that Mo Leitner started. He came in alongside Tom Trybull. Kenny McLean dropped to the bench, and Leitner really did set the tempo. He was really very good. Trybull was fantastic as well. He really snapped into his tackles, was all over the pitch. No signs of cramp today. He'll have been really pleased with his performance. And yeah, Leitner, I don't think he's going to be getting dropped on the basis of that performance, because he really did become the guy that was just setting everything up. He was dropping deep at times, he was helping out in defence, lots of lovely passes, a few tricks and flicks along the way as well, so really positive display from him. Stephen was definitely better than he was at Liverpool as well, holding the ball up higher up the pitch. Todd Cantwell, as I've already sort of said, 2 assists, lots of good stuff. Maybe was a bit frustrated first half. And Pukki, well, we don't really need to say much more about that man, do we? After 30 goals last season, he's just carrying on. All those worries about the chances he missed in pre-season have long since gone, and we've just spoken to him while he's holding the match ball, and he's been told by a Finnish journalist that he's the first Finnish player to score a hat-trick in the Premier League. So he's going to be one very happy man. As long as the chances keep heading his way, then all good. But one of the biggest cheers he got this afternoon was when Newcastle were countering, and Hanley managed to hold things up. But Pukki charged back and actually helped out defensively for that one, and that was just that kind of day. Everything went for Norwich in most aspects, apart from that late concession, which was disappointing. It really doesn't make too much of a difference. But 3-1 is probably a fair reflection of where things are. And Steve Bruce, just hearing him talking to the national media in the mix zone after the game, pretty much admitted that they were outplayed. It was fully deserved result. So plenty of smiles from Daniel Farke and all the players. You can head over to Pinkin.com for the full reaction, Paddy's match report, and we'll bring you plenty more throughout this week.